What is up, folks? NYKF31 here. What you're going to see in these video cut ups is a beautiful blend of a classic scheme whose principles are littered through all levels of football with a nod to modernity and modern spread football principles. And the results, quite frankly, are pretty devastating, as as you're going to see. What Well, first of all, the run and shoot should have never left. I don't understand why more teams at the college level, especially, don't run it. I get it at the NFL level, in a salary cap sport. Pretty difficult to have four really good wide receivers, good quarterback, an offensive line that's good enough to pass protect for such a pass heavy system, as well as be able to field a defense. So I get that. And plus, it's really tough to block quality NFL defensive lines on a down in, down out basis just out of base protection. Max protection does not exist in this offense. Plus, the NFL likes that walking mismatch move tight end. That's, 6'5", 6'6", can run like a deer, can run past linebackers, and can muscle DBs. So what you have in the NFL, you're probably never going to see a pure four wide run and shoot ever again, or even what the Buffalo Bills used to run when they went K gun. But what you will see is what the Giants used to, or how the Giants used to play from 2005 to 2011 or so, where they basically ran a run and shoot offense with pro personnel formation variety. The Patriots as well. The Patriots are basically a run and shoot offense without being a run and shoot offense, so to speak. That's how it is in the NFL now. The concepts live, but the formation packages vary. But what you're going to see here is what Hawaii has essentially done is marry the dual threat QB and the elements that go with it, the zone read, the power read, the RPO game, design QB runs, along with some more modern spread formation, stack receivers, a 2x2, as well as on trips, and blend that with your classic run and shoot 2x2 and tripped formations, run and shoot pass concepts. Like here in this drive, they basically ran all inside zone read, and popped the old vertical read here from trips and are just ripping off chunks and chunks of yardage and will do so for the entire game. Like here again, they're in pistol trips. They do a lot of pistol trips. They come out in pistol trips and then move the back to the side they want to have them protect. And here you go, power read. So you had inside zone, inside zone, inside zone, vertical stems, power read. That's your run and shoot 2.0 in a nutshell right here. Inside zone again, and they're going to cap this drive off with a run and shoot classic here, the old 60 go flat seam read from inside the 10-yard line. And with a modification here, what they're going to do is that they're going to run the flat receiver to the top of your screen, number 3 receiver to the flat, obviously. And they're going to bring the number 1 receiver into a slant to create a rub. So if they're playing man, it's really tough for the corner covering the flat to cross over unless they switch off, unless they play a man version of palms where the outside corner will cut. Here it is, the outside receiver breaks in, number 3 receiver runs that inside pivot, inside outside pivot route to the flat. Number 2 receiver ran down the middle and broke his route off to the back of the end zone. And there you go. They don't quite get in, as you can see here. The downside, though, of this is that when you are playing this style, when you do decide you want to just, or when you do need to just punch it in for the 1 yard line, you go under center, you're not quite equipped to do that. It's just not something that you're comfortable doing because you're drilling what you primarily are so much. So occasionally stuff like that will happen. So they had to settle for a field goal here in this attempt. But you saw on that drive just a nice blend of what they want to do with a quarterback that can run it and throw it, combined with the old school run and shoot concepts that have worked for the past 40, 50 years. RPO, reading the inside backer steps up, they run that little hitch into that vacated area, easy completion. What you're going to see later on is that when there's a little less airspace, that receiver is going to break that into a slant off the same RPO action. But again, the concept of the offense when it comes to the run and shoot remains the same. Run where there ain't, make the defense wrong no matter how they play you. If they play you soft, you break your route off short. If they play you tight, you break deep. If they play you inside, you break outside. If they play you outside, you break in. And when you add in the element of the QB being a runner, it's a boatload to handle. Good knockout there. They constantly pick on that slot corner when he's playing off, but he did a good job of closing and getting a knockout there. Go from pistol to the back on the strong side, shovel screen, get some bodies in motion, and you got a nice little convoy there for a guy that weighs 230 pounds. He's got that Craig Ironhead Hayward build. This game had a very nostalgic feel to it. It's been a while since we've seen this offense since June and Mouse retired, and I honestly don't know why more people don't run it. Now you can say all you want, well, it's Colorado State, it's the Mountain West. You can't run it against Alabama or in the SEC. Well, okay, if you're Hawaii, you probably can't because you don't have the athletes that Alabama and Georgia do. But you mean to tell me if you gave me Deshaun Watson, Mike Williams, Hunter Renfro, Jordan Leggett, and the backs Clemson can put onto the field that couldn't put up numbers? Please, come on. This right here is your classic 60 go once again. Trips to the top side. See the center field safety there. What's going to happen here? Same flat seam read. He just breaks his route away from the single high safety once he clears his underneath defender. This was a combination of a couple of things. One, the Colorado State slot defenders were horrible all game long. For whatever reason, he plays him with inside leverage. And in 4th and 2, he's way too off. Just bad, 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 bad. So this is a case where both the quarterback and the receiver have to read the same thing. The receiver knows that once he beats that guy to the outside, the single high safety has no shot at getting there. You don't run at him, you run away from him. It's just simple logic. And then next play, this is a designed QB power all the way. The fake is to hold the linebackers. They pull the backside guard. Touchdown. They ripped them apart with that play all game long. Power read, QB power. They got massive chunk yards every time. This is a team who last year did not score on an opening drive a single time all season long. They have 16 points already. Try to run a bit of a slot fade there. Penalty on the play kind of broke down. And what Colorado State's doing now, they're trying to get a little bit more aggressive. And that's really the way you got to defend this. The way you defend this, watch this move here. Boop! But anyway, the way you defend this is you got to dictate to it. A receiver can't hit you with a three-way go with his route if he can't get into his route and you're being physical with him with the line of scrimmage. You gotta disguise. If you gotta be able to spin from too deep to single high at the last possible moment, single high to too deep, match quarters, match principles, palms principles. You gotta disrupt the on-the-fly reading of the receivers and the quarterbacks. There's that RPO hitch. Sprinkle in from some zone blitzes. You bring a blitzer, the receiver thinks that spot is vacated, so he settles into that open space or runs into that open space, and there's a lineman or a linebacker there to greet him. Things like that. Because if you try to play this, and unless you just have superior upfront talent, but if you try to play this where every time you're in single high, they know you're in cover one or cover three. Every time you're in two deep, they know you're in cover two or quarters. You're never going to get them off the field. Here's a good old fashioned switch. This play, as you know, is in Madden, but you see what the receiver did there? He knew he couldn't wheel all the way down the sideline, so he broke his route back off to the inside. Understanding of leverage and how you're being played. In Madden, he just keeps on trying to get upfield. That understanding of defender leverage and how that's impacting your route release and your route altogether isn't in the video game world. Shovel screen again, nice convoy again, nice gain again. Playing with a little bit of tempo as well. They're not huddling very much. They're getting right to the line and playing quick. They're going to snap off a little quick game here. They're going to be running double outs with the slots there with number 2 and number 3 to the top of the screen. What it looks like you have here, Colorado State looks like they're in cover 3 Mabel at the bottom of the screen. That's going to be man lock all the way and cover 3 to the trip side. You're basically pushing zone coverage to the formation strength. Cover three Mabel, cover three push, skate, depending on whether you're in quarters or cover six. Different teams call it different things, but the concept is the same. You man up the weak side and you push defenders to the strong side. Nothing fancy here, just your standard inside zone. Light box, run it. Backer shoots the gap downhill. Good bounce outside by the back. Pretty nimble looking guy for a guy that's stout looking. Boop, quick feet. And then boom. You get the second level and you get to little people. Here, this should have been an INT. They tried to run the same flat seam concept that they did earlier. The slot corner actually did a very good job of getting him off of the flat read. Played in between, didn't overcommit, and really muddied that up. So he came late to the middle, and he probably didn't even see the backer there, and he got away with it. But the next play, design QB run again. They pull the backside tackle, almost like a baby QB counter tray. Really nice. This is so well done and really well executed. 2x2 double stack look here. Again, marrying the new school with the old school. The end freezes, easy read and give to the back. Nice little gain there. They scored on every drive but one. They're going to be in a similar type of formation here. Yeah, same formation, but a little bit more compressed. They're going to be running switch to the bottom and bench to the top. Read it like smash. He just takes the low read there. I mean, I was watching this game just laughing and thinking to myself, what is the Mountain West going to do? What are they going to do? It's like a mini version of the Big 12. There's not a whole heck of a lot of defensive stalwarts in that league. It's not going to be mistaken for the SEC West anytime soon. Here it is in slow motion. Bottom of the screen, you're running switch between the inside and outside receivers. On top of the screen, you're running your bench concept. Out corner combo there, high low read. And against off coverage, that's a gift. Take that every single time. June Jones tried to do something similar to this at SMU toward the end. He tried to marry the run and shoot with the air raid as well as some more QB runs when he had Garrett Gilbert, but he just ran out of time there. He either, well, depending on what you believe, whether he retired or was forced out or a little bit of both, he just couldn't get that going in time. He brought in Hal Mummy, and it just was kind of thrown together on the fly. They didn't really have time to let it mesh and develop, and it never really reached its full potential. But here, fast forward a few years later, and you got something here that looks very, very potent. Pistol to motioning into halfback to block the weak. Shovel screen again, and they haven't defended it once yet. So you keep on doing it. And what you're noticing here, there's not a whole heck of a lot of plays here. The amount of plays you have is irrelevant. Flanker close formation there, switch to your top of the screen, try to hit the fade. Just good coverage there and incompletion. But yeah, the size of your playbook is irrelevant. You can have an 800-page playbook if the concepts aren't sound and your players don't execute it. What good is it? You can have a 20-page playbook. If the concepts are fundamentally sound and your execution is better than your opponent's ability to stop it, you'll be just fine. Concepts are is what's important, not just sheer volume of plays. There, the quarterback is just a good athlete and you know turns crap into lemonade. They tried to run switch to the trip side, but it just broke down, and he just had to make something happen. Really impressed by this kid. Really good athlete. Now remember that quick hitch RPO? Now here's the quick slant from the outside receiver off the same action. The inside receiver is running a wheel. Good luck. Here it is in slow motion. The previous route off of this action was a slot receiver running that quick hitch. This time they just switch it. The slot receiver, he actually bends out toward the sideline. He runs a bit of a fade, and the inside receiver runs a quick slant off the press coverage. I actually don't think that was an RPO. It didn't look like the QB was keying off a defender. I don't know what's in his periphery vision, but it looked like more of a straight play fake there. It might not have been an RPO there in hindsight. Kind of hard to tell sometimes. Either way, still a very good tendency breaker. So anyhow, looks like they're going to be bringing a blitz man coverage all the way around. And here we go way back in time to the moving pocket quarter roll. And we're going to hit a deep corner away from the man coverage. And the safety just has too much time. Not too much time. He has too much ground to cover. He was on the opposite hash. And, he did what he was supposed to do. He followed the quarterback, reading his eyes, but just too much ground to make up. And again, the same concept. You throw it where there ain't. If there's a safety there parked in the middle of the field, you throw the ball to where he can't help. That's a really good throw. Really good throw. You're going to see here from another angle there. Again, he can either break in, he can break out. You got a middle of the field safety. You run away from him, and you make the corner chase you and show that he can do it. Pretty good coverage there, just a better throw. That looked like an RPO, like he was keying the linebacker. Linebacker came up, wide open window. And here is the coup de grace. Sometimes you get so discombobulated, you're so worried about how the receivers are going to break. You're worried about them breaking inside on you. You're worried about them breaking outside on you. That sometimes you just get caught flat-footed. They run right by you. That was just straight for verts. What the quarterback did there, he looked to the solo side fade, looked off the safety, the single high safety, followed the quarterback's eyes, and he came back to the trip side, and there was no help there. You had three guys wide open here. The guy at the top of the screen and both slots. I mean, I've seen that happen before when the defense is getting ripped every which way, and then they get to a point where they're on their heels, they're not decisive, and next thing you know, someone's blowing right by them on a simple straight streak, like this. I mean, nothing fancy here. That's just straight four verticals. Colorado State would actually come to make a furious rally to get within 10 points. That's just the Mountain West. Like I said, it's a mini version of the Big 12. Those kind of games, they happen all the time. But yeah, I was really, really impressed by what I saw out of Hawaii here and how they've put this together. And looking forward to seeing how this develops all season long for them. Now, does all of this translate over to Madden? No, unfortunately not. Especially the zone read stuff. There are no RPOs in Madden, and the quick game is much better. Levels, for example, stick, bubble. The bubble screen game is still quite good. You can run that stuff fine, but there are some things that still need some work. RPM has helped at least open up some quick game, but there is still some limitations. The Switch series works really well. The option routes plays, they work okay. There's some, legacy logic there at times, but you know, you've seen the videos. I can get them to work. But the number one area of difference is your options in the red zone are a lot more limited than they would be in the real world. Again, because the short passing game isn't as expansive as it is in the real world. There's not much. It's not as much you can do in the short passing game. Number one question I get with this offensive series every single year when I do it for Madden is what do you do inside the red zone? My next video will be on that. I'll show you what plays I like to run as far as when I get inside the 15 and 10-yard line. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will talk to you all later. Peace.